What's up, gamers? In the next 10 minutes, you're going to write your very first program. Now, I know coding might seem a little scary at first, but trust me, by the time that we're done, you'll have a real working program that you built yourself. So let's dive in and get you coding. Alright, so before we can get coding, we have to download Python. So let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead and open up your browser. I have Google Chrome because I prefer Google Chrome. And then type in, we're going to go to python.org. And this will take you to the official Python page where you can find all the downloads for all the different releases and documentation for all of the things that we'll be talking about and much more. So what we'll do here is just hover your mouse over the downloads tab here, and then down where you see where it says Python install manager, you can click on that, and then that should start the download automatically. There it is. And then I am going to save this to my downloads folder. As you can see, I've downloaded it once before. This is my third time doing this video. It's technical difficulties. But we're going to go ahead and save that to our downloads folder. Alright, and then once that gets done, we're going to go ahead and open that up. So when this window pops up, just go ahead and click on Install Python, and you can hit Launch when ready, so it's nice and convenient for us. Hit Install Python, and this might take a little while, so I'm going to skip ahead. Alright, and now we've got this little window that pops up, and this is pretty much where you will do the rest of the install. And where it says Open Settings now, so you can modify app execution aliases. We're going to go ahead and type no or in for that. Hit enter for that. And then where it says add commands directory to your path now, we're going to go ahead and hit yes on that, because if we don't, then any Python code that we try to run in our computer or with our projects, the computer's not going to know where to find the correct Python files to make it work for us. So go ahead and click or type Y on that for yes, hit enter. And if it says you do not have the latest Python runtime, install CPython now. Don't worry too much about that. We'll talk about that in a later video. But go ahead and hit Y for now for yes. And then it is installing Python. Yeah. All right. Now, whenever you see this, all this mumbo jumbo here, don't worry too much about it right now. We can talk about this in a later video. But the important thing to know that if you get to this hunk of mumbo jumbo, go and scroll up just a little bit and make sure it says configuration checks completed. All right, that means our Python language was installed correctly and we got all that we needed to get. So whenever it says view online help, just say in for no, because you're watching this video right now and this playlist, and you're going to get help this way. So we don't need help online. We got it right here. But hit enter for that, and then we're done with the Python install manager. So now that we have downloaded Python, let's go ahead and open Python and let's get some code written. So first, open up your start menu. You can hit the little start button on your computer if you're using a Windows computer, or I believe it's command and space bar if you're on a Mac. And then go ahead and type into your search bar or your finder, and we're going to type in IDLE. And then whenever the search result comes up is IDLE Python 3.14, go ahead and click that. We're going to open that up. Alright, so this is our Python idle shell. And pretty much what this is a little testing environment. What it stands for is Integrated Development Learning Environment. And what you can do is pretty much use it as a supercomputer. And with Python being an interpreted language, anything that we were to type into this shell, it would run each line as its own program. So to show you for an example, we could type out 5 is greater than 4, and it'll tell us that that is true. Or we could also do math. We can do 4 plus 5, and it'll give us 9. We can also do other mathematical operations such as 5 minus 4, which will give us 1. We can do multiplication, we can do division, we can even test out larger snippets of code just to see what that little snippet of code does, because the idle shell is really good for testing out snippets of code and seeing that result instantly. You can think of the idle as a live translator. Okay, so another little example we can put here, and actually I want to show you a couple of functions real quick before we write your first program. So the first one I want to show you is the print function, and the print function gives information back to us, to whatever we put in there. So to use the print function, we simply type out the word print, and then we use the open parentheses and close parentheses, and we have to have those, otherwise it's not going to work. And every time you use the print function, you have to have these parentheses. So inside of here, we're going to type in a string or a word, and we're going to say hello coders. All right, and these have to be within these little quotes for this to work. I'm going to hit enter on that, and it'll say hello coders. See what I mean? It gives us that information back that we put into it. Now we can also put in some numbers, so type print and the parentheses. We'll go back inside here, and then we can put in numbers, just plain numbers, and that'll also give us what we put in there, which is 5. And there's also a way that you can print multiple things within the same parentheses, or within the same print function on the same line. And a way to do that is type out print, and then your parentheses, we'll go back inside, we'll type out our first line here, say hello, and then we put a comma, and then we'll close that one off with the quotation marks, and then hit press a comma again, and then we'll put the other one, coders, close that off with another quotation, and we'll enter on that, and it says hello coders. And as you can see, you may have thought that it would have not put the little space here because we don't have any spaces in between or outside of our letters here. But whenever we put in multiple things to print within the print function, it will separate them with a single space. All right. Now, another thing that I wanted to show you is a way that we can get the computer to ask us questions, or we can give the computer some information. And what we do with that is we use the input function. And the way that we use that properly is we have to assign it to a variable so that the computer knows the value that we give it, so that it can later use it in whatever function that it needs, or whatever kind of demonstration you would need it in. So we're going to type out name as our variable name, equals, and then we put input, and then the parentheses, because input is a function and functions don't work without the parentheses. Go back inside the parentheses, and we're going to type out our question. We're going to say, what is your name? And then we're going to put a question mark and a colon to make it look cool. It's waiting for us to answer. And what you need to know, what's important for this, is that if we were just to put the quotation marks here right after the colon, it would print out. The computer would ask us exactly like that. It would not have a space out in front of it, and I'll show you. See, anyway, we hit enter, and then we got what is your name, and as you can see, we can type in our name here, and it doesn't look too pretty. Okay, so what we can do to mitigate that is we're going to go ahead and finish this out. Say my name is Jesse. Let's rename, or let's reassign that name variable. So type it out again, exactly like we did before. Say, what is your name? Question mark, colon. Now, what's different here, we'll put a space right after that colon, so we'll get that nice little cosmetic look there. All right, and then close it off with the quotation and the ending parentheses. Hit enter on that, and as you can see, that makes it look a lot more pretty. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to name it Magus, because that's the hero we're going to be working with. All right. Now the computer knows that name, the variable name, is equal to Magus. All right. Now next, what we're going to do is you're going to write your first program. So go up here to File, and click on that. We're going to open up a new file, and this just opens up a little text editor within the idle program. It's not the idle itself, but it acts just like a text editor, just like Notepad. All right, and what we're going to do here is just going to run a few print functions and an input function. Okay, so first off, we're going to type out print, and then put your parentheses, go back inside, and then we're going to type out welcome to the quest, exclamation, because why not? And then close that string off with the quotation there. Hit enter on that. We'll go to our next line. All right, so next we're going to ask you for your name. So go ahead and type out player underscore name as the variable name, and then equals operator, put that, and then we're going to type out the input function, and the parentheses, go back into those parentheses, and we're going to type out what is your hero name, question mark, colon, and remember that space after the colon. Close it off with the quotation mark. Don't forget the ending parentheses on that, and then hit enter on that to go to the next line, and then type out two more print statements here. So print, and then type out hello. This time we're going to print out multiple things here. We're going to concatenate, or we're going to push these two strings together. We're going to put hello plus player name, and you're going to see what happens here, because we can put variables in here and it will act the same as long as it's two strings. Now if you were to put a number in here like hello plus the number 2, that would not work. That would throw an error, because you can't add words to a number. That doesn't make sense, right? So after you type that out, hit enter, go to the next line, our final line, hit print, open parentheses, close parentheses, go back inside, and then we'll start our string. Great job, exclamation, keep coding, exclamation. Close it off, quotation and parentheses, not two parentheses, we already got one there. And then there's our program. So in order to save this, we're going to go ahead and save this. Save as, and we're just going to save it. Now go ahead and save it wherever you find, wherever is best for you to remember to find it later. But I'm going to save it in my Python programs file here, or folder, and we're going to name it my first program. And as you can see here, I have another one here I'm going to write over, because technical difficulties has forced me to do this 3 times. Go ahead and save that. And now we have our first program. Now we're going to run our program. So go up here to run while you still have your text editor open. Click on that. And we're just going to hit run module. And then we're going to see our program run. All right. Now, as you can see, it says, welcome to the quest. What is your hero name? And for this, I'm going to put Magus, because that's who we're talking about. And then enter on that, and it says, hello Magus, great job, keep coding. All right, and that's pretty much it for this video, but as an exercise for you, I would like for you to practice, add a way for the computer to ask you for your favorite number, and then print your solution as your starting power level, and then put it in the comments down below. So to recap, in this video, we downloaded and installed Python. We opened up the idle program. I told you what it was and how we can use it. We got you writing your very first few lines of code, and you even wrote your very first program, so feel proud about yourself. Now in this video, we were merely speaking into the void. So take a gander at the next video in this playlist, where we will be giving our hero Magus a brain by learning how to store information using variables. So if you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have any questions or you just want to say hey. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.